Welcome to our May monthly market update. Being the 4th of May today, so happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. While the weather is cooling, the economic and political landscape is heating up. All eyes are on interest rates as the federal election campaign shifts into top gear ahead of the May 21 polling day. The RBA announcing a lift rate of 25 basis points to 0.35%. The economy has proven to be resilient and inflation has picked up more quickly and into a higher level than was expected. A further rise in inflation is expected in the near term, but as supply side disruptions are resolved, inflation is expected to decline back towards its target range of 2 to 3%. The RBA says it expects headline inflation to reach 6% in 2022, with underlying inflation around 4.75%, given both the progress towards full employment and the evidence on prices and wages. Some withdrawal of the extraordinary monetary support provided through the pandemic is appropriate. RBA points more rate rises in the future. The banks were quick on passing on the interest rate rises to consumers through variable mortgage rates, putting some pressure on household budgets during an election campaign where cost of living is a major theme. The rise in interest rates will help pensioners as interest from bank rates and term deposits should slowly start to rise. The economic event that overshadowed all others in April was the release of the March quarter Consumer Price Index, or CPI, which showed inflation up 2.1% in the quarter and 5.1% on an annual basis. This was the biggest lift in prices since actually 2001 and well above the Reserve Bank's target of 2 to 3%. The biggest increases were for fuel, housing, construction, and food as the war in the Ukraine pushes up global oil prices and the cost of transporting food and other goods. On a positive note, unemployment fell below 4% in March, which is the lowest since 1974, and the economy continues to recover from COVID-related disruptions. As a result, businesses are more confident, with the NAB Business Confidence Index lifting to a 5-month high of 15.8 points in March, well above the long-term average of 5.4 points. Consumers are less confident, with the Westpac Melbourne Institute Consumer Sentiment Rating down 0.9% in April to a 19-month low of 95.8 points. Some key statistics on household income. Average equivalised disposable household income was $1,124 per week. The average net worth for all Australian households in 2019-20 was just over $1 million. Total average liabilities for households saw a statistically significant increase from $189,500 in 2017-18 to $203,800 in 2019-20. CoreLogic Home Price Index improved 0.6% in April. Home prices are up 16.7% on a year ago in April, although the growth is certainly slowing down from 18.2% in March. 3 in 4 households, or 75% of households, had debt in 2019-2020. The Australian business sector is holding up, with over half, being 57%, of all businesses experienced increased business costs over the 3 months to April 2022. Almost half, 48% of these businesses, have completely or partially passed on increased costs to consumers. 1 in 5 businesses, 18%, did not actually have sufficient staff in April 2022. If you're trying to book a restaurant in Melbourne, they just can't get any staff. My local cafe has gone from 12 down to 3, and as a result, it's actually had to close upstairs. That's how bad it is in the Melbourne CBD eating out at the moment. Looking abroad, German officials say sanctions will only be lifted after Russia withdraws its troops from the Ukraine. Warren Buffett's right-hand man, Charlie Munger, says the unravelling of the Robin Hood effect after last year's boom is a sign God is actually just getting just. Buffett says the markets have become a gambling parlour. Finally, the Aussie dollar fell from a high of 75 cents to around 71 cents today over the month, adding the cost of pressures on imported goods. Oil prices eased slightly, with Brent crude down 6% in April, but up 48% year on year. Thanks for tuning in. More next month when we'll talk about the outcome of the upcoming election in some 18 odd days. Thanks, guys.